Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI. Today I'll be doing another live noding. This is gonna be continuing from where we left off the other day when we learned how to do polygon face flipping. Okay, so this is the basic flipping, and today I will show you one technique where if you, for example, what if you want to flip the face but not from the center of the face, more from like the edges of the polygon. And the quick way to do it is if you I got this cheat notes. It's from animation notes release notes 1.6 version 1.6. There is this change matrix pivot node, and this is what basically what we're gonna do. We're gonna follow this exactly, and we're gonna get the effects that we want. So it's not that hard, but just to understand this can be a little bit tricky. But yeah, but before I jump to that, I want to show you something. Let's say you have this setup already, and then you're thinking, okay, hey, I want to kind of parent an object for every face. We can actually do that quite easily, but there is a little gotcha. So I made a setup earlier, not this one. This is for the next video. Yeah, I made a little something. So this is like a object Susan monkey head get instance for every polygon face, and I offset Suzanne slightly, and then I'll make it flip. Okay, so let's bring the timeline. So it's still a normal flipping, but we got a Suzanne head hiding underneath, and when it's got refilled, that's what you get. So that's working quite nicely, and the setup is not that difficult, but just to make sure you are actually what you need to do is just you're using this polygon info node, and then you're grabbing for each polygon, you're finding you want to get the center of each polygon, and that's where you kind of place the copy of the Susan head. And then I want to point out this thing, the normal is pointing to the direction and the guides. If I didn't do that, if I cut it, so if I just have it on the direction, what's gonna happen is we're gonna get like a flipping on the head. You see how it flips? Yeah, that's one gotcha that you must be careful of. Other than that, everything else is straightforward. I actually did a little bit of offset of the head because by default, of course, the center of polygon is like that, and I offset it using this matrix list. If you don't do this, the head will flip, but not in the right way that you might think. So two gotcha, just be careful. So if you want to offset it, you use the matrix, and then for the second matrix you parent this guy into the flipping face. So, and you will get something like this. So that's for that kind of business. Now let's get back to flipping. This is flipping example, and for more advanced flipping, I guess that's what we call it. So let's start with a grid, just an empty scene with a grid, and I'm gonna hide the lamp and the camera, so we get this grid. What you can do is, when you start, you don't need to start from scratch. You can use a template as long you know what you're doing. So we already have transform individual polygons. So this will give you this template, and then of course this, you can grab the object mesh data, which will process the polygon, etc, etc, and then you will get a target polygon, and then I will put the target polygon to the side. That's what we're gonna see. And then inside the loop, as you already know, we have the polygon. For each polygon, we are rotating it from the center like this. So we are rotating each and every polygon like that, but not at the same time, because we already learned we can delay the polygon rotations using the time delay time node. Then we use time info goes there, and then with the delay here we can stagger using the index. So quickly do that, and then plug in the time into the rotations here. Of course, here we should be careful. From time, we need to convert it into rotations, and then for that we need to use the map range. We're gonna remap it like so, and the value will be converted once again into Euler, and we want to use degree, and probably this is 100. Okay, so we got a flipping happening. There's a lot of like steps we just did, and I kind of fast forward everything, but you get the effects kind of. So it's they are rotating 360 degrees from the center. Now what we want is for it to flip from the edges. I'll save this real quick. Flip advanced. The one to rotate from the center, we're gonna need the matrix pivot. Okay, I'll just type in pivot. Change matrix pivot. And my cheat node, it will be this one. So see if I can zoom in, or just open image in new tab. So this is the cheat. So we're gonna be using change matrix pivot so that we can control the pivot for each face that's gonna be flipping, and make sure this is world, not center. So let's do that. So apparently we're gonna need X line and Z direction. For the Z directions, I know I will be just be using the normal of the face. Of course, we also need polygon info node, so I'll create polygon info node and then just plug in this guy to that guy. Normal goes into the normal, and then here actually we have vertex locations. This is the vertex location for each face. So with polygon face, we have the minimum of 3 vertices, and for quad polygon we have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's made up of polygon. So I'm gonna delete the grease pencil, and we will be using the vertex locations. So we're gonna grab the first vertices and then the second vertices, and that's all we need, I believe. So with the matrix and rotation, we already have it, so we just plug that in, and then the pivot happens, and then not center but world. So now we have the flipping, but it's flipping from the edges of the polygon, and apparently the first and the second vertices is this guy right there. So yeah, so actually that's it's pretty simple. You already got it now. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save it to different version. And let's try this on a torus, for example. Gonna scale the torus, that, and then instead of using the grid, I will be using the torus. And we have the effects happening like that. Let's try 20, for example. You may use the interpolation, maybe back. Maybe it should be 40. Maybe the frame speed is too fast. So now let's cut it like that. Now they're rotating, but it's kind of, the effect is kind of a little bit funny. I think that's because of the index. We need to multiply the index, so that's probably better. Get rid of the grid. Maybe the number should be bigger, like 100. And now we can see the rotation. And you can see there's also the interpolations effect happening. That's probably better now. And if you want to randomize, the quick way, the quick shit way is to just maybe shuffle the faces here. Shuffle. But of course you can be a little bit more clever if you are maybe you want to use like a noise multiplied into the delay, and then you have something that's more random. But this is a quick way to do it. The face is actually flipping, and yeah, the effect is quite funny because of course the face going through each other's, and you cannot really tell. Maybe if I use like a different color, like a two-color, use solidify, and give a little bit of thickness, and then different material for the other side of the flip. Maybe it's more obvious that it's actually flipping. Now if you want to create like an X-Men kind of effects, what's the name of the X-Men character? I think X-Men Morph effect. I think it's Mystic. I think it's Mystic. Yeah, that guy here, the girl, and then that's the face morphing. It's kind of what we are trying to do. So it's kind of like the scales of fish or snakes, and then Mystic is changing face really quickly like that. But if you're looking at the detail, when the face is flipping, of course it goes back to the original. But what you can do is you can use animation nodes probably, and when the face goes through certain distance, or when it's rotating, it will change the texture. So there's like a two kind of texture, and when it flips, actually it changes texture. It can be done. I actually tried it using, I tried it on my own face scan and then flipping the textures using this technique. But there are a few complexity, but it can be done as long the face, maybe the number of the face is the same, or you could probably do that in compositing as well. I'm not too familiar with compositing, but you can flip the face in the post-production. Anyhow, for the advanced flipping, we are pretty much done, and you can use all kind of different noise to randomize this changing and flipping face. If you feel like more challenge, you can actually use dynamic paint, and with dynamic paint influencing the vertices, you can then make it happen more kind of procedurally, but you have more control. I always set it up like that, so instead of having everything here, you want to kind of give control more in the 3D view. Let's say, for example, if you want to give the animators control over the flipping, instead of piping the time there, you can use we know that it's gonna be like a float input. Time is a float input, and then if you want to give control to the animator, you can then plug this into there, and then so the animator can animate this, and then I think this actually will make the scene a little bit faster. Now it's kind of slow, so there's this advanced node settings. For every input node like this, you can have this option, show in viewport. Now if you go to the animation nodes menu, we have the data input right there. Perhaps we can actually change the label like flip yeah, so flip me like that, and then now it's a little bit faster. If you give to the animator, okay, that's your flip me attribute there. Just animate that, and you have the flipping effect happening with the object in. I don't know if it's possible. Maybe it's possible, but so at the moment it's the torus. Let's see if we use the object input. It's super slow right now. I don't know, maybe it's because of the template. I don't know. If I save this and reopen, it's a little bit faster. So this object input apparently can also show up on the side panel like this, and that's really nice. So you can give this to animator, and the animator can then, okay, my object is Suzanne or any other 3D geometry, and then I want to load just Suzanne, and I want to get a flipping effect. So that's happening. You can also, of course, hide the original Suzanne. Yeah, that can be done. You will be surprised with what animation nodes. I don't know. I think the developers really think about animators, and there are lots of nodes that give a lot of useful functionality that animators can use, even though at a glance animation nodes can be daunting, but really it's really quite animator friendly, I should say. So you can give the animators, okay, don't worry, don't look into the node tree, just animate it like this. So I guess that's really nice thing. Okay, then I guess that's all for today's video. It's not too complicated. You can definitely do that just following this sheet from animation nodes manual. If you Google it, it's gonna be GitHub animation nodes release note. The first thing on top is gonna be that guy right there. Oh, maybe nodes. Maybe this one. Or this one. Anyway, let's go back. It's actually this one. Release notes for version 1.6. We are currently using version 1.6. And then you will find the cheat right there. That's how you flip from the edges of polygon, and you will get these cool effects. Yeah. Okay, hopefully you find this video useful. I'll hope to see you next time.